Hi class, thanks for tuning in. In this video, we're going to talk about your title page and reference list assignment. We're going to go over some frequently asked questions, and I'm going to point out some common mistakes that I see in this assignment. As always, before we start working on the assignment, click on the Announcements tab. Make sure you read the Week 3 announcement very carefully, some helpful information in here. At the bottom of this particular announcement, there are two attachments. We have an example that will give you a visual of what this assignment should look like. There's a few extra references sprinkled in there just to give you some more examples as well. And we have a template. So go ahead and click on the template, open that up, and it will look like this. We're going to use this template together for this video, and we're going to go through exactly what we're looking for in this assignment. Okay, so let's go to the syllabus where you can see the instructions for this assignment now that you have the template. We'll scroll down to topic 3, move down to the title page and reference list assignment, and you can see the instructions here. This assignment is divided into 3 parts, part 1, part 2, part 3. Part 1 is pretty straightforward, a title page. Part 2, we're looking for 1 reference for each of these 6 types. And then part 3, we're looking for 10 total references. So you will take your 6 from part 2, add 4 more, and put them all 10, 6 plus 4 is 10, into part 3. You can see that these 3 parts align perfectly with the rubric, part 1, part 2, part 3. They also align perfectly with the template. Part 1 is the title page. Part 2, we have 1 for each of the 6 types of references. And then part 3 is your 10 total references in this section. Another part of the instructions that I want to point out is your references should be within the last 5 years. However, the Bible reference can be older than 5 years. Some of your states have curriculum standards that are older than 5 years. Not a lot you can do about that. So those 2 sources do not need to be within the last 5 years. You are free to choose the topic of which you are searching for these sources. Okay, let's go back into the template and talk through a few of these references. The first part of the template is the title page. I trust you know what to do with the title page, so we won't go over that. This is the beginning of part 2. We have these subheadings to help you stay organized, to make sure you don't miss any of the references. And then under each subheading is where you can put your reference for each of the types. So for references, we have a general pattern or philosophy that we're going to want to follow. We're going to want to know who wrote it. We're going to want to know when they wrote it. We're going to want to know what they wrote, and we're going to want to know where they wrote it or where we can find it. So for a book reference, that's usually going to be the author, the date. For books, the title is in italics, and then the publisher. That is the general pattern that we are going to use for references, and this one is more specific to the book reference. Okay, so let's go into the GCU library and find a book reference together. So in your classroom, we can scroll down through this left-hand side here, click on the library, and it should take you to this main library search page. We're going to click on Find Books and More. And my background is in music education, so that's what we're going to search for in this example. We're going to search music education. And we have 1,500 books in music education. So let's narrow that down a little bit. What I like to do is first narrow it down by the publication date to make sure we're still within the last 5 years. 2016 to 2020, click Apply. We can see that narrowed it down to 53 sources. That's good news. This second one here looks like it's interesting, becoming a music teacher. So we'll click on that one. So now that we have this information page, we can start working on our reference. We're going to start with the authors, and we can see the authors listed here: Donald L. Hammond and Shelley Cooper. When we're listing author names, we should list the last name and then the first initials. So we have Hammond, D.L. Before the last author, and since this one only has 2, that's the second author. Before the last author, we're going to use the ampersand sign. And then last name, first initial. We have the authors listed. Copyright date is 2016. We'll take the title. You'll notice this title only has one capitalized letter. In all of our titles in the reference list, we should only capitalize the first word, words after a punctuation, and proper nouns, rather than capitalizing each word. Next, we need the publisher. Here is where we run into a common error that I see. ProQuest eBook Central is not a publisher. ProQuest eBook Central is a database. So don't put ProQuest eBook Central here. If I see ProQuest eBook Central, I will know that you didn't watch this video. So we need to find the publisher for this book. Sometimes they will list it in this whole list of information here. Sometimes it'll be down here near the link. I don't see it here this time. So then what we're going to do is we're going to click to access this book like we were going to read it or check it out. We're going to do a little bit of digging to see if we can find the publisher for this book. So over here we have some more book details, and you can see down here just a little bit we have Oxford University Press Incorporated. So we will go ahead and take that. That will be our publisher for this book. Make sure the publisher is in regular font, not italics. Next, we need the link for the book. Don't take that link, and don't take this link up here. We're going to want to look for the shareable URL. So that is this link down here on the information page. It should be a link that takes us directly to the book. So if you have a link that looks only like this short little bit right here, that's not the correct link. We need the full link that would take us directly to the book. We'll go ahead and put that in here. Now we need to apply our hanging indent to this reference. So we'll select everything, press Ctrl T on our keyboard, and now we have a perfect looking book reference. We'll delete these examples down here. That is what a book reference should look like. Okay, for the Bible reference, an important note here, it's not so much a Bible verse as much as it is a Bible reference. You do not need to have a verse in here. We cite the Bible as a whole book. The verse is part of the in-text citation. For the Bible reference, we're going to go back to the GCU library. Go ahead and click the Home button in the GCU library. Underneath this How Do I, click on How Do I, and then click Cite Sources. We are using APA 7th edition, so click on that. And then scroll down over here on the left-hand side, you will see a link that says Reference Examples. Click on that. We're going to scroll down some more until we see examples of book and book variations, and then we see Bible commentaries, Shakespeare, other classical works. If you click on this, there are some instructions here for you to follow for a Bible reference, and then there are some examples down here for you to look at. These are all examples of different Bibles. The Bible is a little bit tricky to reference, so it's going to have a lot of variation depending on what version you are using. In general, what we're looking for is we're looking for the version, the copyright date, where you got it, and the original work published date. So here's another example. King James Bible is a very common Bible. We have the version, the copyright, where we got it, and the original work published. Okay, so look at this page in the GCU library for those Bible references. That will help quite a bit. Moving down to your journal article with a DOI. Once again, we will find that within the GCU library. So I'm going to scroll back up and click Home. Let's click on Find Journal Articles, since we're looking for a journal article. In our search here, we will once again type in music education. Also check this box right here for peer reviewed. That will make sure that we get only the highest quality of sources in our search. Okay, after our search results come up, we can see we have a couple of good examples right off from the start. This one right here is from 2021, so let's go ahead and click on that and take that. For a journal article, in the GC library, we have this Cite button over here on the right-hand side. So we're going to click on that. And this gives us some examples of how to cite. Make sure that you are using the APA 7th edition. This is not a perfect reference, but it gives us a good start. So we will go ahead and copy that. Come back over here into our template, and we will paste it in here. And you can see there is all kinds of problems right off the bat. I'm going to zoom in. There is a gray shadow behind this reference. We want to get rid of that gray shadow. There's a couple ways to do that. One way to do that is when you paste, if you right click and select this option right here, keep text only, that will get rid of the gray shadow. Of course, that causes us to have some other issues as well. So you can use that option, or you can use the Format Painter option. So what that does is it copies the formatting from this, and we can apply it to somewhere else on the paper. So I'm going to select some font that is already formatted correctly. Click the Format Painter button, paint over this, and you can see that section that I painted over, it got rid of that gray shadow for us. It also matched the font, so now it's back to Times New Roman size 12. This right here is Times New Roman size 12. This part that we didn't format paint is still Helvetica 10. So let's go ahead and use that Format Painter again and apply it to this whole reference to get rid of that gray shadow. So I'm just going to select this much. We will paint over this. There we go. And now that gets us one step closer to this looking a little bit better. I'm going to zoom back out. The next thing we need to change is the author names. You'll notice this came through in all capital letters. We do not want to see all capital letters anywhere on the reference list. So to change this, we're going to use this case tool, change case here in Microsoft Word. Click this button, and for author names, we're going to change it to capitalize each word. It will work perfectly every time for author names if we capitalize each word. There we go. That's an easy fix. We have the date. For this title, you'll remember we talked about titles up here in the book reference. We should only capitalize the first word, words after a punctuation, and proper nouns. Tendencies is not a proper noun, so we know that this is not correct. So again, we're going to use the change case tool. Let's just change everything to lowercase. And we'll go through and we will capitalize the first word. We will capitalize proper nouns. There aren't any punctuations in this title, so we don't have to worry about that. And now that title is much better. In fact, it's perfect. The name of the journal should be in italics, along with the volume number. Then we have the issue, page numbers, and the DOI. So now this is a perfect journal reference. We have the author, the date, title of the article, name of the journal in italics, volume, issue, page number, and the DOI. I think I missed this I when I was doing italics. There we go. Now it's perfect. Okay, so we have the State Department Curriculum Standards and the website reference. We're going to skip over this State Department Curriculum Standards for now. We're going to work on this website reference first. For a website reference, we're going to start with the author, the date, title of the work in italics, the name of the website, and then the link. For the State Department Curriculum Standards, it's going to be very similar to this, but probably without the name of the website. The reason why is because if your author and your name of the website are the same, then we simply omit the name of the website. If you have a separate author from the name of the website, then we will still need to include the name of the website. So let's go find a website. To look for a website, we're just going to use plain old-fashioned google.com. Again, we're going to use our music education search term. The National Association for Music Education is a well-known, well-respected organization within music education. So this would be considered a scholarly source since they are authoritative on this subject. You will want to find something that relates to your topic that is authoritative. Wikipedia is no good. Use something like a national organization, something that you're familiar with. Okay, on this web page, we cannot cite just this main web page. We need to know exactly what information you're taking from the page, and really main home pages don't really have that much useful information anyway. So let's go ahead and look for some information here. We're really just looking for something a little bit less formal when we're searching for website references. So it looks like there's a blog section on this website. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. This looks like an interesting article. Begin the school year with a ringing success. So a lot of times these are going to be more practical resources rather than the more formal journal articles. This looks like a fantastic and very interesting article that we are going to cite for our assignment. So let's go ahead and bring our template back over. We can see we have an author here, Kathleen. We are going to use the author's last name. Oh, not in bold font. There we go. Author's last name, comma, first initial, and she gave us a middle name, so we'll go ahead and give that middle initial as well. Looks like she is the only author, so we can stop there, and it was published in 2021. The title, begin the school year with ringing success. And this is a new sentence here, the benefits I like the play on words that she did there. Very nice. Hand chimes. So this is an interesting one. Microsoft Word says that this should be 2 words. In the title here, they have it as 1 word. If they make a more of like an editorial decision like this in the title, go ahead and leave it as 1 word. If it's a blatant misspelling, then change the spelling so that way it's correct. In this case, we're going to go ahead and leave it as 1 word, hand chimes, even though Microsoft Word thinks that's incorrect. Okay, the website that we found this on is the National Association for Music Education. Don't use an acronym here. Instead, type out the whole title. And then we would need the link. For this one, it's okay to take the link right from your browser because that will take us directly to the information. I'll maximize this so we can see it a little bit better. Get rid of this example. Now we have a perfect website reference. The State Department Curriculum Standards is going to be very similar. I will show you how to do that. Once again, we will go to plain old-fashioned google.com. I'm going to type in Arizona Department of Education. You are not in Arizona. Don't type in Arizona Department of Education. Type in your state. We will go to the State Department Curriculum Standards webpage. And we need to look through this website a little bit to find the academic standards. In Arizona, we're lucky. We have it right here on the home page. So we're going to click Review Academic Standards. Okay, remember we are working with music education. So that's going to be under the arts education area. We have it divided into different standards. We're going to go ahead and go with the general music standards. We'll go click on this link for the PDF. And this is the source right here where we are pulling our information from. So this is the source that we want to cite. So for our standards, our author is the Arizona Department of Education. They are responsible for making the standards, so we want to give them the credit for that. Let's see if we can find a date. We see down here, little tiny print, approved in May of 2015, so we will go ahead and take that. Title for this source, 2015 Academic Standards in the Arts General Music. So we will go ahead and copy that title, paste it in here. And remember, we need to get rid of all of these capital letters. So we'll use our case tool to lowercase everything. Arizona is a proper noun, so we will capitalize that. And the title should be in italics. Now, if we were to give the name of the website, it would just be the Arizona Department of Education. So since we've already used that as the author, we don't need to include that here as the name of the website. Now all we need is the link. Looks like a very long link. That is okay. Copy that, paste it in here. Make sure the link is in regular font. Sometimes it comes through as in italics. And then also make sure we have the hanging indent set correctly. If you're getting your spacing going a little cattywampus with your hanging indents, click this button up here and that will tell you if you have a random enter keystroke. It looks like there's one right here. So what we can do is we can hit delete right here. Our hanging indent is a little bit too large. Right click, go into the paragraph settings. Make sure your hanging indent is set to 1/2 inch. Click OK. All right, and now we have a perfect curriculum standards reference. Our final reference is the dissertation reference. We are going to go back to the GCU library to find the dissertation reference. Let's go ahead and click the home button. For dissertations, we are still going to click this journal articles link. Instead of searching here, we're going to scroll down a little bit and we're going to narrow down our database. So click on D for dissertations. We can click on this first one right here, Dissertations and Theses at Grand Canyon University. Once again, we will type in our search criteria, music education. Okay, let's take this second one right here, Effects of Music Program Participation on Adolescent Students' Academic Performance. That sounds like a fantastic work to study. In this area, the Cite button actually works pretty well. So we're going to click on the Cite button. We're going to copy this. Oh, that's in 6th edition. Let's see if they have 7th edition listed. Let's take 7th edition. No case changes. So this one looks pretty good. We're going to go ahead and take everything before the link. So we'll just copy that much. Come back over here into our template. Paste this information in here. Couple of things we're going to change. Instead of order number, we're going to change this to publication number. And then we have this available from Dissertations and Theses at Grand Canyon University. That's okay. What is more correct is if we have in brackets, doctoral dissertation, Grand Canyon University. The idea here is we want to know exactly where this dissertation came from, the publishing school. And then we can get rid of this information here. Title for a dissertation should be in italics. And once again, we need to fix the case, change this to lowercase, and we will just capitalize the first word. All right, and now we have part 2 completed. For part 3, we're going to move part 3 down to the next page. You're going to take your 6 references from above, add 4 more, and put them in alphabetical order down here in this section. I trust that you know how to alphabetize, so I won't demonstrate that for you. You should maintain the double spacing and the hanging indent in this section as well. Okay, I hope this video helps. This video is not intended to go over every single fine little detail, so please always feel free to reach out and ask me questions as they come up. Thanks for tuning in.